Hey, what's up, everybody? Blaze and Dave here to a special edition of the Town Hall Dave McCoy edition. We are here to share some news about the latest and greatest in Splinterlands. And yeah, looking forward to chatting with you all here and hearing what Dave has to say.
Great to be here, Blaze. Thanks everybody for showing up. We actually did have influencers on the show planned, and they couldn't make it for various reasons. I think part of it was because of the holidays and traveling and all that. But make a long story short, Blaze and I are still here, and to some degree, we're still influencers as well. So happy to keep it going. One of the things that we wanted to do by having this show today is talk about the conflicts, because we're going to be announcing that, and I know people are going to have questions, so it's good for us to answer them. I'm not sure exactly where the best play. Blaze is going to have to direct everybody where to ask the questions. I'll keep an eye on Discord in our regular town hall chat, and feel free to ask anything you got. We're here. You got us for at least an hour, and we'll see how far it goes from there. So, kick it away, Blaze.
Great. Go ahead and the next up and coming thing is the conflicts, and that's right around the corner. It's actually starting next week. So on the 16th, it'll be active. On the 15th, when we do the maintenance window, we will have it implemented, and then we're going to allow a window of time for everybody to get ready. So that's what's happening with the conflicts, and then we'll go into the details here shortly. And Dave has some exciting news to share of the foundation mode, which is going to be very beneficial for us on the angle of acquiring new users and retaining them and having a place for them to play, where they don't feel like they're getting sucked into PvP right away, but they're actually able to, as far as in competitive, they're actually able to get the hang of the game and learn the ins and outs before diving in the deep end. So
yeah, I'm really excited about it. We were hoping to launch it next week, exactly 1 week from today. We actually had a little snag, so it's going to be a week later. So it should be 2 weeks from today, hopefully, fingers crossed, knock on wood, all that kind of stuff. But what I'm really excited about is it's a true free-to-play version, and it's a mode where you only play against that card. So, I mean, the cards in that mode. So, for instance, all the foundation cards that you could get by playing the tutorial, that's going to be the addition. You can play that against other players. It's something that maybe some of our more experienced players aren't interested in, but a lot of people that are brand new, it's a great spot to come in. It's completely free to play, no SPS earnings, no SPS staking requirements. They will earn things. They will be able to earn in the beginning just cards. When I say just cards, that's one of the reasons I came in the first place, was to win cards. These cards are, obviously, everybody's seen them. They're the foundation set. They'll be tradable. You can theoretically sell them, even though they're probably not going to be worth a lot in the base version. However, the premium versions, the black foils, gold foils, both arcane versions, will be able to be won, which I'm really excited about, because it's a reason for people to want to play. Like, that's something I probably am going to want to do as well. Like, I'm a card collector, so if I can go in and play and win chances to win these big cards, as far as I'm concerned, that's fun, right? So that's kind of what I'm looking for. So that's coming in a couple weeks, and I'm really excited about it. My guess, and Blaze and I got a little side bet going, but I believe that within 3 months we will have as many people playing in that mode as we do in like one of our regular ranked formats. So we got a one deck bet. So Blaze, make sure you don't spend it all before I take it from you.
yeah, no, I'm really looking forward to that. And you and I talked about this back in October of last year, of just again getting some a soundbox area for people to play around. In addition to that, we're going to be doing all kinds of fun things with rewards and such. I can't share too much right now. My boss will fire me, but yeah, we're working on some really cool stuff that I think you guys are all going to enjoy. And it's rewards in addition to SPS and cards. We just have some fun stuff coming around the corner. So
yeah, which that's really important, Blaze. I'm glad you brought that up, because a lot of people say, what are we going to do after SPS, right? Because everybody knows we have 12 to 18 months left on a lot of our drops. We're coming up, and they're like, what are we going to do, right? And is SPS the only thing that we have to deliver? And the answer is no. I mean, we have a very cool game. It's a premium game. Obviously, SPS is a big part of it. Like, a lot of people play for the earnings part, but a lot of people also play for the fun. A lot of people like to collect the cards. And so really, having people understand just how important that is, I think is going to be highlighted here coming up, especially in this free mode, because we're not giving them anything other than, things like collectibles, things like fun, things like excitement, things like, immersion into the lore. Like, I remember back when I first started, I like cards like Silver Shield Assassin. It's still one of my favorite cards. And, I went out and bought a whole bunch of them because I really just thought the card was a badass card. So, those are things that, build value in the game that I don't think a lot of people think about on a day-to-day basis, but it's going to be right in front of us here coming forward. So I think that's a pretty big deal. All right. You want to talk about how it's going to work, Blaze? That'd be something to do.
Yeah. I don't think we have any demos prepared, but do you have the rundown of the operation?
I can explain it. So what it's going to be, the mode's called basic mode. It's basically where you start. The players are going to come in. They're going to be able to play the foundation cards. There's going to be a limit of Silver League in terms of how high the cards can rank up. So you can, it's a full set, so you can collect the whole set. You can, get them all. You can play ranked, either modern or wild, with that set of cards. So it's a big help to anybody coming in and want to work hard and get these cards. They'll be able to use them in modern ranked. Again, they won't go past the silver level, so they're not going to be like competing in champ or anything, but they'll certainly be very helpful to the players in the beginning. When they first come in, they don't know what to do. They're going to be able to learn the game. And then at the same token, they're building their decks to be able to go into, modern ranked and, be able to compete, and wild ranked if they wanted to pay for the wild pass as well. But most likely modern. And like I said, you will be able to win the better versions. We're going to have raffles that happen every week. There's going to be like 70 prizes every single week that they're going to be able to get going. I'm actually looking at some of the questions. So like Icy Flow just asked, are they gold foil starter cards? And these aren't starter cards. It's just called the foundation set. So it's just a different set. So it's not Conclave Arcana, the one people buy. These are ones that are earned. And I mean, they're the foundation set, right? So your base level set. But yes, there will be gold foil, there will be black foil, there will be gold foil arcanes and black foil arcanes. And like I said, coming out initially won't be the ability to earn them like day one. What will happen is you'll be able to earn the cards through gameplay, like win X amount of matches, you'll get a card. Win another X amount of matches, get another card or pack. Depending on your level, you could be cards or packs. And again, the idea is to help people to build their set. But in addition to that, they're also going to be able to win raffle tickets in phase 2, which should come 2 to 3 weeks after we launch. So we have 3 pretty exciting ways in which people are going to be able to earn the raffle tickets. And that's going to be I think a pretty big motivation for players to want to play. And we don't mind if existing players play as well. So a lot of people said, oh, what's going to happen internally? What if regular players decide to play? And, the answer is great. Like, we want a mode that everybody wants to play. So if you guys find it fun and interesting and something you would want to play, then guess what? You're probably going to go tell friends and family, like, hey, come play this game. It's really cool, and you can win some pretty cool stuff. So that's it. All right, EW, you said, are we allowed to keep playing basic on one account and send the extra cards or alt? No, it's not against the. Yes, you are allowed to do that, and no, it's not against the terms of service. These will be fully tradable cards, so you're not allowed to bot it. You have to play human. You have to be a human to play it, but you can play it on your account. You can play it on an alt account. You can play. It's got its own energy system, so you're limited by that. But at the same token, the cards that you win, yes, you can transfer them, sell them, do whatever you want. And you're going to find in phase 2 where it's pretty neat that you'll be able to either stake the cards or burn the cards to actually get extra raffle tickets. So, even if you don't, like, let's say you got to a max level, you'll be able to still you do something with your extra cards. And the answer on to Icy Flow, do the foundation cards count towards collection power? The answer is no, they don't. They don't have any collection power, and they don't have any PP. So they have no PP. So the no PP. So they're not on land. They're also not able to be played in survival mode. They're also not able to play it in brawls unless the brawl specifically says that it enables it, which at this time is only one tray. So if anybody else has any more questions, you guys can ask. I'm happy to answer. I'm really excited about it because, like I said, within 3 months, I think we should be able to double the number of players in our system just, through that mode.
Yeah, no, and
right.
Right now we're measuring retention, and we're watching these campaigns that we're running and seeing what the users do, how quickly they act, and a lot of this stuff, it takes time to build trust with new users to fall in love with the game, and it takes time. And what better way to have an area where they can actually start collecting things and getting the hang of the game before they get thrown into the lion's den, right? So excited about that, and also like Joey and the team, the artwork on these cards, like from a collectability side, I want them all. So I bet you many others are going to be thinking the same way. So it's going to be fun just to have that alone, just the collectability of when we do the raffles and such. So it's going to be really fun.
Yeah, and to answer Icy Flow's question, yes, foundation tournaments will be a thing, but not day one. Right? It's going to take a while for everybody to get used to it and get in the flow. But yeah, I mean, why wouldn't we want to do tournaments for people that come into the game? Like, we don't have to. That's a great thing when you're doing a free to play version. It's not about money in a lot of cases. A lot of times they want to come and they want to like play for something, right? And a lot of times that's for adrenaline, and that's what tournaments do, right? So somebody comes in and they win a tournament, and then they get all excited, and maybe they get like a trophy or something like that. Like there's a lot of ideas we have on the drawing board for prizes that we can give, but again, phase 1 is just to get the mode built. So I'm really excited about what it can do. Money's 9 is the second chapter coming out soon. I assume what you mean by that is, oh my goodness, I think
for the campaign mode, yeah. Jangles hasn't had his coffee yet. Yeah. He was too shy to come on before the coffee.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, gotcha. All right. So going back to this, the second chapter coming out soon. That's on the campaign mode. That's the essentially the tutorial. I know that's being worked on, but there's also a lot of other things being worked on. So I don't have a status update, but it's not something that's coming in the next 2 weeks. So I know it's on the drawing board. I know they've got a list of things that they want to cover. Everything from, for instance, players come in, teach them about staking, teach them about liquidity pools, teach them about, things other than just gameplay, in addition to gameplay, of course. Tails is asking what types of enforcement will be in place to prevent bot armies. I mean, the same type of enforcement that we have right now. So in other words, we're able to detect the bot armies now, and obviously it's a pretty severe penalty if they get caught.
Yeah, I think Tails, they just recently had a little situation back in June, and they were able to handle it quite well. And I think they've put some tools in there to help prevent that in the future. And again, they locked it down pretty good. So confident that they'll be able to protect that at the highest levels. We discussed that in a meeting today, so they're on it.
Yeah, and in terms of the exploit, I mean, the one thing that I understand, everybody's kind of got a little bit of, I don't even know the term, a little bit of fear, like, oh my God, this looks like the old days, and what's going to happen, and all of a sudden we're going to go out of control. It's not like we just woke up yesterday. Like, of course we understand people are going to try to take advantage of the situation. So I think we've got as much experience as anybody in the space. In fact, probably most. And I would also say that, a lot of those lessons we just didn't all of a sudden forget, so of course, I'm pretty sure nobody's going to be able to spin up 5,000 bots without us figuring it out. So I think in the past, maybe they were naive. I think it's also possible maybe sometimes you get a little bit of cognitive dissonance where you don't want to see what happened, but I can assure you, I don't want bots. So if I see bots in that mode, they're going to find out, like, I have zero tolerance whatsoever. I'm probably one of the meanest guys in the world to somebody who cheats. So if I find somebody cheats, they're going to find out they really, really didn't want to do that. So, it is what it is. I'm not too concerned about it. It's similar to the way we essentially got rid of the bulk of the bots in modern. Somebody would say, so-and-so's a bot. Maybe there is, but I can tell you by the numbers, there's not, thousands of them. That's for sure.
Yeah, and the exploits are limited on the free-to-play mode, right? It's not like they're going to be extracting SPS.
Yeah. All right, Blaze, do you want to handle where do you see new SPL?
Yeah, definitely. The
from?
United States of America is leading the way right now. So followed by the Philippines. So I think our YGG partnership has been really good, and we have a lot of players just consistently playing from the YGG partnership that we did, and it's fun to see their activity. They're very active, and then we also have Australia, I think, in the mix, and Europe following. So it's a good mix, but definitely U.S. and Philippines right now are dominating.
And why don't actually, it's a pretty good opportunity, because I know a lot of people ask a lot of questions about the marketing, like when marketing, when did you start, or what are you going to start, or are you, like, why'd you cancel it? Like, there's all kinds of comments out there. So, like, I know what my thoughts are, but I'll let you
definitely
go first. And by the way, before you get going, let me just tell Video, can you please clarify that question? Because I'm not really sure what you mean. I'm happy to answer it. I just don't know. I'm not sure what you're asking.
Yeah, no, we're doing test runs and seeing what's productive, and then looking at the users that come in from what ads, and then we just restructure the ad or give it a pause and run another one to measure activity and such. But we ran some ads on X, and now we just moved into Facebook today. So we're starting up our Facebook ads, and then we're also firing up Reels. I don't know if you've seen the Reels, but doing the creative organic as well. Instead of ads, we're actually just going to start putting out Reels all the time with some fun stuff, and I'll be doing some fun community events. But this is a process. Plus, we have this new mode coming around. That's when we really want to lean into it. Once we see that retention rate kick up, we'll time everything wisely.
Yeah, and I'm going to give my take on that. Like, spending money on advertising is actually pretty easy. We can spend money in a lot of different places and get eyeballs, right? Like right now, I don't know the number exactly, Blaze, but I'm pretty sure it was definitely over 100,000.
Yeah,
so I don't.
We had over 200,000 with X alone,
000.
and again, you see that spike. I think at 400, it was around that time, and I think we were over 200 in the combo with YGG too. But yeah, it's a timing thing. So we're getting everything dialed in, but to get millions of eyeballs is going to be rather easy because we did that with very little funds. So once we start cranking that up, we're going to feel the impact, but the goal is to keep them. So that's why we're upping the urgency on this foundation mode, because it's going to be a great place for people to come and stick around.
Yeah. And so going back to that, like, spending money on advertising is easy. I mean, no matter what business you're in, you can pretty much segment your market. You can get the funds spent that's not a problem. There's a lot of people that come and tell you, like, I will get you X amount of eyeballs, blah, 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 right? The issue comes down to, is it smart to spend the money if you're not going to get the return? Meaning, you're going to take your money, you're going to light it on fire, and then it goes away. And then what are you going to have? Nothing, right? So you want to make sure that your money's not going to be lit on fire. So there's two components to that, two main components. One, you got to find the right place to get you the most effective, number of people that are going to see your ad, right? So that's one, right? Like, how much did it cost you to get those 100,000 views, right? And then number two is, did they click through? Which means, what was your ad effective, right? And that's Blaze's job, right? Did he do a good enough job? Did he make an ad that was compelling? Did he, did he come up with something creative that people are excited about, right? One or the other, right? If you can get eyeballs, but if it's on, just a boring black screen and that's it, right? Then, having the eyeballs see that, but nobody really caring, doesn't really help you. So we also have to learn that, right? So we have to, we got a one-man team, a one-man marketing team. That's Blaze, right? So, everybody's like, hey, what are we doing? Well, I want to see it. Like, I'm putting it on Blaze, like, run a lot of different campaigns. I want to see the results. I want to see, which ones work, which one don't, because I know Blaze has never run marketing campaigns for a Web3 gaming company in this space, right? So he's going to learn along with everybody else. So he's been doing those programs. He's been able to follow the track to see how it's doing, what's working, what's not. So that's part of the process. And then the last part, which is probably the most important part, is if you don't want to light your money on fire, you need to make sure when you get a customer that you're going to keep the customer. If they come in and they leave in 2 days, like, what good did that do you? Nothing, right? And basically, we were in a position where we had a very, very high turnover. People came, they turned around, they left. So, you can throw a ton of people at it, but that's not really the most effective way. So what you're going to see, and why I can talk about it a little bit more now, is because it's a couple of weeks away, as opposed to trying to just tell you a vision. We're actually close to implementing it. So I feel like we can talk about it. And that is this new free-to-play mode is a sticky thing, meaning people will be able to come. They're going to have fun. They're going to enjoy it. They're going to be able to play. They're going to be able to collect stuff, sell stuff. If they want to sell those cards, I don't know what they'll be worth, but let's say they're worth a penny and they want to come in, and a penny's a big deal. They can sell them for a penny. So they're not going to be sold out. It's not going to affect the game itself other than a limited entry level, because again, these are all silver level cards. And they're kind of walled off from everything else, right? So you're not going to be able to put them on land. You're not going to be able to use them in survival mode. I mean, there's a lot of places where we've carefully thought through how to do this, but this is a big deal, and a lot of times people say things like, I don't know that, I don't know if that's going to work. I mean, where are we going to get people? I mean, we're going to get people the same way we got every other person that we've had here, right? Like, most of the people we've had here has been through like a shotgun approach, right? We're going out, we're getting the word out, right? Whether it be through a marketing ad, through a search, through a newspaper article, through a magazine, through a partnership with Wax or something like that. I mean, at the end of the day, we're going to try to pull people in from all different places, and we're going to try to put them in a spot where they're going to have fun, where they're going to enjoy it, where they're playing to earn something. And guess what? They're going to learn about our premium game as well. And our premium game obviously is pretty good, because if you look at the amount of sales we do versus our competition, we blow them away, right? So as much as everybody kind of looks and thinks, like VC Dragon comes up and talks about the wall, right? Like, we hit that wall every day, and SPS is never going to go up, and blah, 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 right? Like, at the end of the day, that's a function of the fact that we don't have anything coming in in the funnel, right? We have nothing in the beginning. But at the end of the day, when you step back and you look at it, the amount of eyeballs that we have, the amount of players that we have versus the sales that we do relative to our competition, we blow them away, right? Because we have a cool game that's very deep and very complex and very well put together, and the credibility, that we're real, that we're legit, that we're not, some fly by night operation. So we have all that going on the plus side. But what we did is we never focused on the funnel. So now we have a funnel coming in, right? A funnel where people are going to be able to come in. And like I said, I mean, I'll be shocked if we don't have, 2, 3, 4x what we have now currently playing by the end of the year. I mean, I literally be shocked. So this is live being recorded. You guys can, if you don't believe it, we're 25 minutes in, copy it, paste it, and come back to me in December and see how it turned out.
Yeah, no, and I'm super excited because we are setting the foundation and we are doing this right. We even have our press release company that we just signed up with. Is when we do get news out, we're going to find ways to broadcast that. And we've already have a couple in the pipeline that we have on standby until we get everything dialed into where we're at a point where we're ready to go. That's being set up. And also, I think it was a great learning experience the last quarter of 2024 of just analyzing other crypto games and how they were putting money into marketing. And as you guys see this year, a lot of them have failed. So there's a lot of projects out there that are full of hot air, right? They see big numbers, but a lot of it is just a lot of hot air, where our community is, a solid foundation, and it's, players that truly love the game, which we love to see. And then Hewitt, really quick, I agree with you. The momentum on SPS, that's not really in our hands. We are still pegged to crypto in a way, right? So until we make this more into a thriving game and business that attracts people from all angles, we'll have that. So that's where the combo of bringing people in that are collectors, we need everything, right? If you just have utility and people are here for crypto, it makes it really hard because people are always looking to extract. Where if you bring the collector mindset, they are thinking more of collect and a long-term hold and such. So we just have to take this from different angles and get the right combo of users to make this a thriving ecosystem.
Yeah, and I would also say, on the price of the token, I mean, I come from the financial space, so I look at everything on a big picture. So what's the total market cap? How's the market cap doing? And yeah, we had a bump on Conclave Arcana, and then we pulled back, right? Why did we pull back? I mean, I got theories just like everybody else has got theories. So theories don't really matter. I mean, at the end of the day, what really matters is we don't have enough players. If we have more players, then there's going to be more competition for the assets, and whether that's cards, whether that's land, whether that's the tokens that people are going to get, that will change everything. So, if we don't get new players, then it's the same players, right? When they're, like when you bought your Conclave Arcana set, of course it popped up, right? Then when you're done, what happens? It's going to come back down, right? Because there's not a whole nother set of people doing the same thing. That's why getting new players is the most important thing. So when everybody talks about like all the issues that we have, pretty much they all boil down to we don't have enough new players. Right. And we lost our focus somewhere along the way. Right. So prior to Blaze and I getting here, there was different people in this spot. And I can just say they didn't do a good job. I mean, that's just the numbers prove that out. Right. They just did not do a good job. So I can tell you right now, that's my sole focus. Like I said, if we don't have many multiples of the number of players by the end of the year, I mean, I'm okay to be fired because I should be, because if we don't, then we made a mistake. So, at the end of the day, that's what I'm here to do, is grow the funnel, right? Because like I said, we already have a premium game. That's the one thing I think a lot of people don't really realize. Like I've done comparisons with some of these games and like somebody's like, oh, so-and-so's hot, right? Like, oh, that's really good. And then I go look at their sales and they did 1.5 million in sales. We just did 3 million in sales. So, all right.
Yeah, we're at 3.2 right now, and then not even that. It's the wallets. We continue to see the growth of new people buying packs. So,
right, but the bottom line is, it's like you think that they're doing well. Why? Because what they do is, like Blaze said, they're backed by VCs, right? They put a lot of money behind them. They splash everything everywhere, right? Like kind of like what happened in the SPS first getting launched. Like it becomes like a little frenzy. And then that money runs out, and then that's it. That they didn't have anything behind it. Splinterlands has 7 years worth of history behind it, right? Splinterlands has like the one thing that people aren't worried about. Like I don't ever hear people talk about, at least Matt, right? Saying things like, "Oh, it's they're gonna screw you." I mean, we did back in the back in the beginning, Blaze, well before your time, probably before you were born. But back because you're such a young guy. But back in the old days, they used to say when before we even had a game, we'd buy packs and we bought cards in the packs, and that they didn't have any stats. So like there were the negative people at that time said, "Oh, you guys, they're Matt and Aggie, they're just selling you, pictures on a card. There's never going to be a game, blah, blah, blah." Well, it turned out 7 years later, yeah, this turned into something. Right now, did we hit a rough spot? Absolutely. Are there things that we need to improve and have needed to improve? Absolutely. And those are kind of things that we have been working on all along, and we're hopefully you've noticed that we've accelerated that process as well, right? Like, in my opinion, we could move even faster. So, we went from moving at a relatively steady pace that some people would say would be slow, right? We picked up the pace recently, but I think we still can do better. That's how I look at it. And you can ask Blaze. Occasionally, I make that point to people.
Yeah, no, but again, we're here for the cause, most of us. So that's the good part, right? So we are here fighting to make this the best game in all of crypto and beyond. I mean, we have a lot of advantages over the real world TCG games that will be able to capture their attention. So looking forward to that day once we're all set up to handle that and then start marketing towards them, right?
Yeah. And Jangles mentioned something about the crypto recovery fund, the crypto gaming recovery fund. I mean, I don't think anybody really realizes how big that could be. Like, I'm not here to hype you. Like, I'm not saying to go buy SPS or anything like that. Like, that's not my style, number one, right? Because I think, this is a game, right? So this is a game. You got to, like, you don't mortgage your house to play a game, right? So everybody's got to understand, the space we're in. It's a game, right? Having said that, the opportunity in front of us with the crypto gaming recovery fund is really big because it's a different message. It's a fresh message. It's something that nobody else has thought of. And the ability, like, that's something like again, in the real world, when you do a press release, like, it's a little different than an announcement in Discord. So when you do a press release in Discord or an announcement in Discord, all the people that are in the Discord channel see it, and that's about it, right? Like, nobody outside sees that we're going to be doing conflict wagons and things like that, and nobody really cares other than the people in the game. But when you do something that's press worthy, right, that people are going to be interested in, like news organizations, like, they find out, like, hey, what are you talking about? Oh, you guys have a backstop for other crypto games. Like, that's unique. That's cool. That's something that they may want to write about. So, I mean, there's thousands and thousands of writers and people that, could potentially write about it. Maybe not one of them do. Like, it's quite possible not one person writes one article about that program, and it's really us rolling up our sleeves and letting people know. But it's also quite possible that we start making these releases, people start finding out about it, and all of a sudden it's like, hey, you got other people telling your story because it's a very interesting story. And that's the part that I think, people really, really don't understand, which is fine because, again, I'm not here to hype you. I'm just trying to say, like, we got a lot of great things happening right now.
Yeah, no, it's great to see everybody running on all cylinders. It's awesome. It's awesome. And those little things like Keegs, I'm like, what are we going to do to capture it? Like, when I purchased my Holoista Holo, I didn't have time to play, and people were talking about the card and how they would use it. And I went ahead and delegated it. I think it was to the Philippines, and then one was in California. But what other TCG game can you, like, take a valuable asset like that and delegate it so other people can play with around the world? That's super powerful, So little things like that we just, I guess we're in crypto, and for us it's normal, but for to share that, I was in on the mainland talking to a Magic the Gathering enthusiast, and he was very intrigued about the game and learning about it, and he's all ready to go. So I'll be sending him my referral link here soon. But yeah, no, looking forward to just, again, that we have the, and a lot of these guys don't have time to sit down and play and go to these events physically. So having the ability to do that from the mobile app, that's amazing. Speaking of mobile app, Android is working pretty good. We have some things to fine tune on it. And then Apple is just being a little complicated. So we'll get there soon. And I wish we would have had it out a couple months ago, but they are a challenge.
Yeah, I would say don't count on Apple in the near term, only because I think that's going to be like get the lawyers out, and or at least start talking about get the lawyers out before we're going to get there. So I don't expect Apple anytime soon, but definitely Android working fine. And then DeHaas has a question about the marketing campaign. Is there a chance that we expand resources for folks looking to promote referrals, i.e. banners, backgrounds, card arts, different poses?
Yeah,
Blaze,
we're going to be able to team up and do all kinds of things. Like for Jagged and Steel are already doing the shirts and stuff. So we're already doing a bunch of internal collabs, and it's fun. It's fun. We can Vanak, right? Do this all together. But definitely, I'll be working out a couple of plans once we have our base here with the foundation mode. It's going to be helpful.
And Ime Wanti, I just call you EW. Normally, it's easier to pronounce, but we'll talk about the wagons here in a minute when we go over the actual conflict release. We're gonna go over that here in a few minutes. And Drajan, the online Splinterfest, I think that would be a great idea, to be quite honest. All right, I'm just reading through. Keegs, by the way, we are exploring. We are exploring some of the big retailers in the TCG space. In the physical world, it's not as easy as you would think. But having said that, we are trying. So we haven't had any success, but we're certainly looking for. We understand that would be a big hit if we could figure out a way to get them to market, in conjunction with us. All right, so it seems like we're starting to get some questions on the conflicts. Blaze, so let's go ahead and let's get that out of the way, because I think that's one of the things that some people are going to be happy, some people are not going to be happy, and I'd rather hit it head on. So if you're not happy, you can certainly bring it up. One thing I'll say before we put it out, let me think how to put this. When discussing this internally, a point was made. I'm not going to get into who does what, right? But I'm just bringing this up. A point was made. Well, people are going to be kind of, unhappy with, the amount. Like, couldn't you do more, right? Just to make them feel better, right? And then the answer came back was, well, it's just math, right? Like, and the more you think about that, the more you actually understand it, right? Because we have roughly 3,000 cards that we have out at this particular time. So if you went and looked at any of the Chaos Legion regular foil legends, you'll see about 3,000 cards. So the challenge is not to, hey, what can we give out? The challenge is, how do we give out about 3,000 cards, that will be the case in the next 30 days? Because what a conflict was meant to do is to replace those cards that, if had you opened or bought the packs, that you would get the same amount of those cards each, with each drop. So obviously they don't do it perfectly, but if you have 3,000 out there, you can't give out like 10,000, right? Because if you gave out 10,000, now there's going to be 3 times more of those cards than everything else. And then it's going to be, then people are going to be saying, why'd you overproduce it? And conversely, you don't want to give out like 300, because if you gave out 300, then everybody's like, well, there's 3,000 of the other ones, and now you only put out 300 of those. So the goal is to try to make it work, right? And the way to make it work is to try to match up as close as you can the number so that it equates to the amount that's already out there. I saw a couple comments today in the tavern, and like one person said, and I'm not picking on the person because I think I'm thrilled that they're here. I'm thrilled that they care. I'm thrilled that they really want to get the drop, but they were like, this is just for the whales, right? Like it was supposed to be for the average guy or something to that effect, or for everybody, some comment like that. And the only thing I would say to that, like, it's not for any one particular person. It's to literally put the cards out that would have been out had these cards been available at the time from day one, right? So if there's 3,000 out of every legend, then when the airdrop's over, the goal should be 3,000 out at that time too, right? The goal isn't to make Vuctus happy or to make somebody else happy or make somebody on the small end happy. No, the goal is if there's 3,000 out, let's put 3,000 more out. Like that's actually all that's happening. So I get it. I'm actually sympathetic to people like, geez, I want as many cards as I can get to. And yeah, I bought a lot of packs, but I'm just like anybody else. I would like to have as many as possible. But having said that, the numbers are the numbers. So Blaze, are you ready to share that?
Sure.
You shared your own face.
Thank you. All right, we up now? All right, great.
Yeah, you got it. I don't know how is everybody, because we see a different screen, I think. So is that showing on theirs?
Yeah, it is.
Okay. All right.
Cool. Yeah, this is the announcement post that we're prepping. It's just about ready to go out. I was waiting on for some more images from Creative. That's coming together, and just to have a second pair of eyes to go over it. But it's just about we're gonna release it tonight.
Hewitt, I'll answer that in a minute. So I'm not gonna. I just want Blaze to finish this. That's a great question.
So yeah, let's go over it really quick. The battle lines are drawn once again. Welcome to the first ever Conclave Arcana Conflict. 30 days. If a 30-day event where players can stake their cards in packs and earn points. You guys know the drill. So it's basics here. Battle wagons, 30 days, earn points, rewards, airdrops, and yeah, you get your cards. And this is the first card. It's Xerx. This card's insane. Ask Bejangles. Bejangles, you have permission to share how badass it is. But it's a really, really fun card. Stats will be coming out on it soon. But it is ready to go. Battle wagons, the front line of war. All mage wagons, both existing and new crafted, are eligible. Each wagons carry up to 5 cards or up to 100 packs. Rebellion or CA. Rebellion having half the value as CA. Okay, here's the point systems for the packs. Rebellion packs 50 points. Standard packs 100. Alchemy 300. Legendary 600. I still have not been able to hold any. The only one I have in the account is when Beaver sent me a standard pack, but I believe I've ripped all mine. So I need to get more. Dave, do you plan on staking packs or just cards?
I would, but I can't keep my deck.
Yeah,
I keep spending my deck on stuff. So.
Great.
I mean, I want to. I think it's a nice play, but I also think those black foils are pretty good plays too. So
yeah, for sure. I saw an arcane that I want. Hopefully it's still there. Mage wagons, crafting and repairs. Want more wagons? You've got options.
Yeah, can we talk about the wagons here for a while?
Yeah.
Briefly before you get to the next step. On the wagons, the discussion came up, should we make them, it's at one point it was going to be all new wagons. Like those wagons that we had last year weren't even any good at all, right? Like we're just going to have Conclave Arcana wagons, right? And that, in my opinion, wasn't a good route, and so we changed it, right? So the change was so that all wagons counted, but the wagons need to be repaired if you win. So some people have said, like, well, that's a tax, right? Like, you're just getting taxed, right? You win a card for, you know, call it $20, and you're having to pay, call it $5, to, claim it. So you're really only getting 15. And that can be looked at it that way, right? And then people are, and again, when I say people, I'm just listening to the conversations. I'm having arguments with different people, or conversations. It depends. Some people arguments, some people conversation. But at the end of the day, what's happening, right? You got to step back and look at what's happening. Is the team reaching into your pocket and putting money in our pocket? Like, hey, this is how we're going to stay in business, right? We're gonna go get $5 from every single battle wagon. Like, the answer is no, we're not. So what happened? What happened is the decision was made that these rewards are so good that it's kind of like deciding who gets what, right? Like, these are really good rewards. They're all legendary. They're, look at any set that we've had. These are the cards that everybody, like, really, really wants to have, right? And so the decision was made, like, if a wagon got hit, there's a cost to repair it because the guy got something. And what does that do? That just transitions value, that money that's paid for that wagon, over to the land guys. So, you know, it's utilizing one aspect within our game to support the whole ecosystem in a small way. That's it, right? Like, Splinterlands isn't getting anything. We're not like, ooh, those greedy guys at top, they're sitting there. I bet Blaze has got a huge bonus coming from all those battle wagon stuff. Like, no, there's no bonus. There's no money coming to us. It's just transitioning part of that value because that was what was felt was fair. You can argue with that. You can say, hey, I don't think that's a fair way to go, or I think it should have been less, or I think it should have been more. And that's perfectly fine, right? Like, to have that conversation is fine. But I just want to make sure that everybody understands that the battle wagon cost is not going to us. It's going back to the game, right? Like, the resource. And the reason why that's a big deal, because, I do want to not forget about Hewitt's point. But at the end of the day, like, how is this going to be worth it for everybody? And that is, we develop a vibrant system that looks out for everybody, not just one group of people. So anyway, I just want to bring that point up. Sorry to interrupt there, Blaze.
No, yeah, no, thanks for clarifying and bringing that to light. All right, so craft a wagon kit in the artisan quarter, and most of us, I mean, if we're not land heavy, we're going to be buying these off of the market, right? So the wagons themselves. So hopefully they'll be as go down in value like the midnight potion, so we can get more cheap. But that works. I'm sure there's going to be a surge. But 40,000 wood, 10,000 stone, 4,000 iron, 2,500 aura, and I think I spoke to the team. That's around $5 worth of material there, if that's still the case. Yep. These kits will be tradable and sellable on the non-card market. Okay, or you can buy it with DEC or credits. Purchases work just like older editions. The system uses DEC behind the scenes to acquire a wagon kit from the market. So many of us will be using that option. Okay, repairs. Each time you receive an airdropped card, one of the wagons is damaged and it must be repaired. Same resource cost before it can be used again. I think this was a complaint here, right? One wagon will become damaged for each airdropped card received, whether or not you use the wagon for this conflict. For example, if you have 100 wagons, 30 filled with cards, accumulating points, and 40 cards as airdrop, you will have 40 of your wagons damaged. 40 of your 100 wagons damaged. Okay, reward systems. Every 100,000 points earned earns you 1 entry towards the conflict airdrop. Okay, each entry has a 0.125 chance of receiving the conflict card.
Can you explain that a little bit, or maybe I'll give the color. So what that means, like unlike some of the other things we do, where you have to have a minimum threshold, once you have a entry, you have a chance. It's a small chance, but you still have a chance.
Okay, a guaranteed drop is awarded after 800 entries. For every 25 cards received in one conflict, you're guaranteed 1 gold foil version. Okay, boost your chance with potions. When claiming rewards, you can use potions to increase foil odds. And then here are the odds. Alchemy, gold foil chance 4 to 8%, 50 potions. Midnight, black foil chance 0.1 to 0.2, 50 potions. Okay, here's the jackpot editions. At the end of each conflict, 1 black foil arcane and 5 gold foil arcane cards will be added to Gator's bucket. The old Gator's bucket. We still need to get a really nice NFT of Gator's bucket, which means they will be discoverable through in-game pack purchases. Okay, conflict timing. We're adding a pause option between conflicts, so the next event doesn't have to be immediately after one ends. So there's a little buffer space between the conflicts, so they have time to get everything dialed in for the next one and allow everybody to repair their wagons and such. Okay, here's the first conflict numbers. Full breakdown. Base gold foil chance 4%, boosted gold foil chance 8%, alchemy potions per chance 50 value, base black foil 0.1, boosted black foil 0.2, midnight potions 50, and then with the 50 you can get the points per 100. Points per entry 100,000, airdrop chance per entry 0.125, entries for guaranteed airdrop 800, airdrop guarantees for gold foil 25.
Okay, so there's some points in there, and we expected them, and I certainly don't mind addressing them. So everybody from Adapt Direct to others. First, EW, your numbers are right. For every 111,000 collection power, that gets you the 800 chances. So that's correct. In terms of the Adapt Direct, like you said, this game has literally become a lottery. The game is too expensive and not attractive for new players. Here would be the question I would ask back. Like, you have 3,000 cards. How would you give them out? Do you give them out to the people that bought the packs? Do you give them out to the people that own the cards? Or do you give them out to the people that, whatever reason, their name starts with, G? You can decide however you want, but at the end of the day, I'm willing to listen to ideas. But when you come back, you got 3,000 cards that you have to give out. How are you going to give those cards out? I mean, 111,000 collection power for the guaranteed card is the same whether it's Blaze, me, Doombot, EW, Hewitt, whoever. We all have the exact same number. It's not like one group gets one number and another group gets another number. It's just it's the math. Yeah, Luna. I assume that's Luna. Mondre, we did do that, by the way. We gave out a lot of cards for free. The Mac card free, right? That was given out. That was put into packs free, right? The black foil and the black foil arcane and the gold foil arcane, those are for free. You get those in packs. You buy the packs, you get them. Now, when you say let's give them free to players, are you saying? I'm assuming that you're saying let's give them to the people that buy the packs, but maybe you're saying let's just give them for free to just anybody. And if that's the case, how would that work? Like, I just don't see how that would work. So, is this a lottery? I mean, not really. I mean, if you have 111,000 collection power, you get a guarantee, right? Like, that's the way it is. You might get 2 cards, you might get 5 cards. So yeah, it is a lottery, but you at least get a guaranteed of 1 card if you have 111,000 collection power. If you don't have 111,000 collection power, you don't get a guarantee. You can still get a card. You know, if you have 20,000 collection power, you can still get a card. You're just not guaranteed to get a card. That's basically the difference. And I guess the question would be, how would you, like, you take somebody, who was the guy that put 100,000? That was Manser. So let's not use him. Let's take Bugtus. I think Bugtus did like 70 grand or 80 grand. I mean, should we tell him that his cards aren't worth the same as your cards? You know, and again, I'm not speaking to any one person in total, but like anybody asks that question, like, Moderate, I'll use you since you're I consider you somebody who, you know, isn't going to take this personally. But, you know, let's say you have 20,000 collection power and Buctus has, you know, 50 million, you know, whatever the number is. Do you think his cards should be worth less than your cards? Like, that would be the question I would ask. You know, like, are his cards worth less than your cards? And the answer should be, I would think that most people here are somewhat libertarian. Like, no, I mean, you know, the numbers are the numbers and it is what it is. Like, there's 3,000 cards that are going to be given out. How do we give them out? And what could be fairer than using a formula that applies to everybody? Right now, when you get into the repair costs, like Lapis says, you know, why would it be the same as a new one? I can understand that argument. I'll put it that way. You know, like, yes, you know, a wagon's a wagon. You know, basically the idea behind it was, again, that they weren't going to even do a wagon. Like, from the old, they were just going to do the new ones. And then when they died, then you got a new one. But there's problems with that because from a user standpoint, if you force somebody to buy a new wagon, then you got to make them take the cards off the wagon. And then they got to put those cards back in the wagon. And what if they're out of town? What are they going to do, right? Like, it becomes just a lot of work. So, you know, the idea was, well, we'll just make them repaired, right? And then it came down to, should they be cheaper? Should they not be cheaper? Obviously, common sense says maybe they should be cheaper since they already have the, you know, the ingredients there. They just need to be reassembled and put together. But then the argument came back saying, hey, well, you know, what if it's totaled, right? Then you would just really have to restart back from scratch. So, I mean, all of these things have one issue or the other. So it is what it is.
Yeah, they're
right,
really cheap, crappy wagons. It's not worth repairing. Just get a new one. But it would be great if we had legendary wagons, huh? It's my thought.
Yeah. All right. So Rudy, to answer your question, the rebellion wagons are the same as the conflict wagons. Wagons are just wagons. So they do work. So just like a brand new one, if you made it today, it would look just like the old one that you had from Rebellion. They work the same. Hewitt, since you brought it up again, I'm going to go ahead and talk about that point because that's exactly the crux of it. Like, we have a very high-end inelastic system. So what that means is that we have people that are willing to pay tens and tens of thousands of dollars for sets, for cards. Just look at the Heloise card. Look at what a full-blown max black foil set cost. Like, we have people on the high end And at the end of the day, they keep us in business. And if they didn't keep us in business because they didn't buy, then I don't think anybody here would be very happy, right? So if we did stuff that made it so that those people got screwed, I don't think that would work, right? Like, so I don't think that's a good solution, right? So the $60, $70 common that you're talking about, that, you know, you need to have thousands of dollars invested to, you know, be able to make it a good value. I would agree that the way the game is set, and that's one of the reasons why we needed to get this fixed, is the most of the money transitions past a certain point, right? So if you come in and you play in bronze, it's very hard to get anything. And so let's say somebody comes in and they buy, I don't know, $20 worth of packs. Are they going to get their money back? Probably not, right? Like, it's going to take a long time to get that $20 back if they can stick with it. So we got to be in a situation where it does make sense to come in at the beginning, and makes sense to be in the middle, and of course it makes sense to be at the top. In order to do that, you have to reverse the funnel. We had lost all the people at the bottom because they continually catered to the people at the top and forgot about the people that are coming in at the front. That is 100% a focus of mine. Is that something you can snap your fingers and change? Like, by saying, okay, here's what we're going to do. We're going to cut all the rewards at the top by half. And then we're going to take all those rewards and give them to the people at the bottom. Do you really think the game would survive if you did it that way? The answer is no, right? Like, you just can't do it that way. So what you have to do is you have to build with an understanding, like, hey, this group has been neglected. So how do we help them, right? How do we put things in place that, you know, help the people at the bottom end of the funnel, the ones where we should have tens, if not hundreds of thousands of people, you know, wanting to play freely. And again, we're working on that. The conflicts part, like, the problem is people like come out and they say things like, this is only for whales, and you didn't want to get the new players. No, I want to get the new players. In fact, nobody cares more about the new players than me. The problem is I got to go from point A to point B to point C to point D. I can't just snap my fingers and go from point A to point Z. It takes time. It's a process. So I hope people understand it. I'm going to do my best to explain it. But at the end of the day, yeah, I got the same goal you guys do. Like, I think that somebody should be able to put $100 into this game, have fun, enjoy it, get some cool clean ROI. That's how I think it should be. So that's my goal. I don't think you should have to put in $5,000 just to make sure you can make money. So I know, Blaze, that's not an easy thing to follow. So let me go ahead and answer another question. Mega Marcus. So what happens if somebody doesn't claim their last conflict? Will his wagon work without replayer? I believe the answer to that, and Blaze, you may have seen it past what I saw, but I believe the way they handled that was the wagon won't get points until you collect it. Is that right?
That's the case, yeah.
Yeah, that's what I thought too. I might have missed some points. Yeah, Rudy. Okay, yeah. On the return of the league level caps, let me also handle that. I mean, this is a town hall, so we can talk about anything. I believe that there's advantages to the league level caps that a lot of people talk about, and there's an advantage to what they did, which was, you know, first we did legal level caps, then they flipped it with no legal level caps. There was a reason for that, and I think that reason was valid. Having said that, I also think it caused another problem, which is why people are saying, hey, I want legal level caps back. So my answer to that is, why don't we have more than one way of doing things? And again, that's where I think that's the position that we're in. Like, yeah, I think there's a spot for people that want to play with league level caps. I think there's also a spot for people that want to play without league level caps. And there's no reason that we can't have both. So, again, it takes time. We got a very small team. We got limited amount of money. We're coming from a loss position, meaning operating loss position. So we're finally getting our head up to the point where, hopefully, we hit the break even plus territory, and then we can quit talking about runways and, things like that. And when that happens, now all of a sudden we can turn the afterburners on. You can ask Blaze, you can ask anybody on the team. Nobody wants things to move faster than me, right? Like I believe there's a lot we can do, but there's only so much we can do on any given day, right? But the goal is to get there. So, yeah, I agree. I mean, one day I want to have league level caps return as well. Not completely, meaning I want to have, it's kind of like the same thing with, bots versus humans. I was the guy that put out the proposal, right? I put out the proposal. I run bots myself, right? But when I was a player, I had a lot of accounts that ran bots. I didn't have the big 5,000, man things, but, I had cards. I put the cards on accounts and I botted them, right? So I was for bots, but I was the guy that put the human proposal out. Why? Because I also understood and recognized that a human form of play was a big deal, right? So making sure that humans can play against each other was a big deal, but also making sure that people that bought assets and wanted to make sure that their assets weren't rendered useless was also a big deal. So voila, we did a 50-50 thing, and it's worked out relatively well, right? It hadn't been perfect, could be better, but it certainly worked out a heck of a lot better than it was before and what the alternative would be. So things like that, are, I think, going to be the same thing with league level caps. There's going to be some people that are going to say, hey, no, league level caps are the only way to go. And then there's going to be other people that are going to say, absolutely not, I'm leaving if that's the case. And my answer is, why can't we do both, right? Like both of them make sense in certain spots. And one last thing I'll say, and then Blaze, I can turn it over to you. I think that a lot of people, they envision the game as what they see in front of them today. So the game is, modern ranked, wild ranked, survival mode, or land, pretty much. And yeah, I mean, it used to be just ranked, right? Now we got 4 things. If Blaze and I have our way, there's going to be 8 things, and then 12 things, and then 15 things, and then 50 things, right? And there's going to be a mode. There's going to be a gauntlet mode. There's going to be a enhanced tourney mode. There's a lot of things we're doing. If you guys have any idea how many cool things they got, that they've worked on, had it like where it could have gone, but for some reason they didn't put it out, and now it's not that it's too late. It's that, we can only do so many things at one time. So you got to prioritize which one's most important. But at the end of the day, there's some really cool stuff coming. So, all right, Blaze.
Yeah, looking forward to sharing that as soon as we can, right? And it's getting there. Get past conflicts. We get the foundation mode out. We're going to have, again, another wave of stuff. It's going to be nonstop. So looking forward to sharing the thing that you and I were working on this weekend. So hopefully soon I'll be able to unleash that little nugget. In regards to the date, here it is, July 16th, 2025, 12 p.m. Eastern. Be ready. So again, that's the day after the, I believe that's on a Wednesday, after the maintenance window. So gives everybody time to get things dialed in. And then on that note, let's go to a commercial break. Fun little video from our community member Jagged. Here's the link to his X account. But it's great to see our community contributing, and like Dave said, we have a lot of fires burning right now that we're working on and getting things released. And this community help is great. It just helps spread the word, and it's fun. I need to go load up on my merch as well. And I know that a couple of them, like, get with them in regards to shipping. I think I saw a complaint in regards to not shipping to the UK. They just got this started, so sometimes that takes a little time to get dialed in and approved to be able to enable international, and it depends on where they're going from. But Jagged, I believe, is using Printify, so that should be quite easy. In regards to Amazon, that's what Steely is using for the pickle. Get with him on details for where it can be shipped to.
Yeah, definitely check the postage, and I think it's cool that both guys are doing it. So
yeah, that's fun.
They're going to put out some pretty cool stuff. Ghostly asked, do the chances required for a guaranteed drop increase with each drop, considering the fact they are starting out so high? The answer is no. I mean, it's the chances of the chances. Like if we made it that way, people would, I'm sure there would be a reason to complain, right? Like it's just simple, guys. I mean, there's 3,000 cards that we're giving out for every 111,000, whatever EW came up with. That's how many you need per, you'll get a guaranteed card if you have 111,000 collection power. But again, if you have half that, all that means is you have half a chance. You have a 50% chance of getting a card, but you also have probably a 1% chance of getting 3 cards. Like that's just how the odds work. Like there will be people that will pull these cards and be really excited that they got them. And again, these are all legendary cards, and they should be pretty fun. For
sure. EW, yeah, we can do all kinds of fun stuff with tournaments. I'm really excited to get there. We just, taking care of what we have in front of us. But I know Matt's doing some fun things with getting the rework of tournaments and guilds. But yeah, I think we can do some fun things with Foundation Mode and tournaments in the near future too.
Yeah, Foundation Mode is going to be a pretty big deal, EW. We're going to really, really focus on getting more people into our system. Because again, we know that it works well on the high end. The problem is, like I said, we neglected the middle and low end, right? So if you're in the middle or the low end and you're feeling blue, understand, right? Like that's the goal, right? The goal is to make it rewarding for everybody, right? And to do that, again, you don't go from point A to point Z by snapping your fingers. You have to go through B, C, D, E, F. You got to take each step along the way and make sure you do it, thoughtfully, carefully, and, basically make sure that you're providing value. And again, what's going to make all of our assets go up? All of our assets going to go up when we have many, many more players than what we have today. If we don't get more players, guys, I hate to break it to you, but we're not going to go higher, right? Like our card values aren't going higher. Our SPS isn't going to go higher. Our deck isn't going to go higher. If we don't get new players, that ain't going to happen. So, we're in a position where the same thing that's going to stop you from not doing well is the exact same thing that will propel you to do well. And I've talked about it before in like Jangles' is broadcast in other places. I don't think I ever got it on one of the town halls, but at the end of the day, there's a difference between hope and confidence, right? Like hope is like, oh, I hope it works out, right? Like I hope it works, right? Like fingers crossed, knock on wood, I hope it does well. Like what that really means is I'm not sure, right? Like I think it could happen. I think it's possible, but I'm not 100% confident, right? Because if I was confident, I wouldn't hope. I would just say, yeah, that's going to happen, right? So at the end of the day, what we need to do is turn hope into confidence, right? And you'll see it when you see it. You just remember I told you. When we go from people saying, oh, look at all the cool stuff we do, look at all the cool new things that's happening, look at all the strengths we have, whatever they are, whether it's the depth of our game or the cards or any of that. And then when you start to see like the things that are needed to bring in those new players, and then you see what happens when we bring in new players, that hope is going to turn to confidence. And then I don't have to tell one person to buy SPS. I don't have to tell one person to go buy a pack. They'll all know. First thing they'll do is say, oh my God, we just got, 5,000 new players. Like, holy cow. Am I going to wait till we get 50,000 before I do something about it? Or am I going to start taking advantage of it now, because we all know what happens if we had 5 or 10 times more. Anybody who's been here since 2021, even if you came in at the top, you know exactly what happens when you get a lot of people. The only difference between now and then is that this time we're going to make sure that we understand it can go back down. So we're going to, properly, we're just not going to get all giddy with like, oh yeah, this is going to go up forever. Like, we're going to take that money and do something with it. All right. So, all right, Blaze, there's a lot of questions in here. I don't know. I know it's kind of hard to keep up in this format a little bit, but I will say, like, Aaron, one thing you bring up with your point about the whales, and again, it comes up a lot. I don't know who's on the call. I know some of the people on the call, but my point is I'm not sure exactly who I'm reaching, but I can tell you right now that we have some of the best whales that I could have ever wanted to have. I'm not saying they're all perfect. I'm not saying that there's, I'm sure there's a greedy guys. I'm sure there's some, selfish, bad people, right, that I'm not aware of. But for the most part, most of the ones I've come across, like literally, I'm thankful. Like I have a lot of SPS myself. I have a lot of cards myself. But I'm by no means like the big whale, like a Bugtus or a Brave. And so I say to myself, like, oh, geez, I kind of have, like to some degree, my future is in their hands, right? Like what they decide to do could really influence me. And then I look at what kind of people they are, and I say to myself, that's okay, right? Like, thank goodness it's Brave and it's Vugtus and it's Gold Matters, and a lot of the big asset holders, are just really, really cool people. So they are looking at the game. They want to see the game grow. I'm not saying that everything they say or do is going to, everybody's going to agree with. But at the end of the day, they all want to see us do well, which is all you could really hope for from people that essentially back your project, which is what's happening.
Yeah, and I think that goes across the board, right? Like that's something we all have in common. We all want to see this game thrive, and we all love it, and we all want to be here for a long time. So that's, it's a teamwork. We count on them, and they count on us. So we all have to work together to make this thing succeed, which we will.
Yeah. Yeah. One other thing, like a lot of people say the flywheel's dead. First of all, the flywheel's not dead. Like if you look, how much SPS did we burn on Conclave Arcana, right? Why did we burn that much SPS on Conclave Arcana? Because there wasn't enough deck floating around. That was the only way to get it, and guess what? It had to go up in order to make people want to go ahead and part with it, right? And no matter what you say, like, ooh, that should have been what I would have done, blah, blah, blah. Like all that's like hindsight. But at the end of the day, it just proves the point. If we provide stuff that people want to buy, then our assets are got to go up, right? Because they're trading low, right? And there's not a lot of it sitting around at the low. So as soon as new demand comes in for anything, which is our job as a team to create like things that people want. And if we successfully do that, then we create more demand than what it costs to run us the business. And then boom, we're off to the races. But again, how are we going to do that? It's got to be more players, right? Like I think that our elasticity is about run out. Like I don't really think that, the whales that we have, like you can only go to them so many times, you can't just like come back and say, hey, let's do another set next week, right? Like you have to have a pace, you have to perform. And again, like I said, I don't think I even have to ask anybody to go buy once we see new players. Once people see new players, I think everybody's going to say, all right, I'm going to get in now before everybody figures out what's going to happen. And I think that's kind of where we're at. All right.
And speaking of, just real quick, like a big thank you to the community for taking such good care of the new players when they do land in the tavern. I've seen some great conversations and great help there. So really appreciate that.
Yeah. And I would also say, I'm glad you brought that up, Blaze, because as we get more and more people coming in, please, like, there's a lot of people I see in the chat here that, are in the tavern. That's where everybody goes, right? So a new player is going to go into tavern. So when you guys notice new people, can you try to, like, obviously welcome them is good, but also like maybe not have some of the fights that we have in that room, like
put the beer down.
yeah, I mean, just sometimes, just because it's in all of our interest to, I'm not saying we need to lie or you need to go out and say, yeah, this is the greatest game ever, it's got no flaws whatsoever. Like, I don't think that. But, you don't have to go out of your way to like hammer on, whatever, Zircon for being a bully or, whatever the case may be. Like, just be aware of the surroundings, so to speak. Like, and if you see that new people are popping in, just, try to stop, try to protect that vibe, like keep that vibe going. That's all.
Hey, while I'm sharing the front page, just want to let you guys know that we have the front page here redone. And this image, I talked to creative to get it a little less grainy. There was a reason behind it, but I talked them into getting this a lot prettier. So they're working on some fun stuff here to make this a better first impression. I saw the complaints. I had the complaint myself. So, but other than that, great progress. We're also going to be adding a carousel with like rotating news and such. So when people land, they can see what's going on.
Yeah, go ahead and show. Is there anything else down there?
Yeah.
Oh, I know another thing that you talked about, the new the new battle thing.
Say that again.
The new battle screen when people pop in and they play the new battles.
Right.
Make sure you can leave your feedback. Like there's an example. Like some people love it, some people like hate it. So feel free.
And there's also they're like getting used to new things. We have this reaction. I had the same things like, where's my history? I want to see it here. But they have it under season activity here. And it also works very well on mobile. So
yeah. But the point is, if you want to comment and give your feedback, there's a channel for that. What's that channel, Blaze?
Yeah, it's in Discord. Which one do they normally drop it in? Lily's everywhere, but there's the suggestions, and then there's the tech support.
UX channel.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah, UX.
Yeah, and Rudy, the answer is no. Once it's set, it's set. That's what I was when I said, like, I was trying to like be sympathetic, right? And say maybe, here's how we could, do a little better. But I mean, again, it came down to the math, right? So I actually think that we may actually underperform the expectations, because my guess is there's going to be a lot less participation than there would have been because the numbers turned out to be so high. So it's possible that they just become more scarce, which means they're even better to have if you have them, but of course more frustrating to have if you didn't get them. Because, obviously, I don't think it'd be 2,000. I would be shocked if it was that kind of difference, but it may be 2,800 instead of 3,200 or something like that. In which case, it'd be just a slightly more rare card. And I definitely think the black foils at 50 potions, probably, I don't know how many people are going to do them or not, but for those that do, even if you don't, that's still going to be helping the land, which is still helping our economy. No, I didn't. EW on the EWS did I say 800 stays for the whole airdrop now instead of 50 plus 50 for each card? The answer is no, but I'm pretty sure what will happen is we'll see how many got dropped the first one. Maybe take that back. The second one may be plus 50, but at some point, because you got to give it ahead of time. But if we see that like 2,800 were given out and they were expecting 3,200, then they'll probably adjust that 800. In other words, again, the goal is to match it. Let's say it was only half as many, right? Let's give you guys a theoretical. Let's just say half as many as what the math said showed up, right? Like for some reason, everybody wanted to rent out their black foils instead of putting them on land, right? So if that was the case, and let's say only half of the cards were made, then maybe, 2 more airdrops in, like we see that trend happens, and then the number would be adjusted, right? Because again, the goal is still to get it to be the same as what's happening in the market. So anybody can look at the market and see how many legends are out there, and you can bet that's what Matt's going to shoot for. He's going to try to match whatever's currently issued. That's basically his math, his formula. Oh, I know one thing I want to talk about, Blaze. From there, one last thing, because we can wrap it up here in a minute. But go to the bucket page. So go to the shop. Or you got a quick.
You want to go to this?
Yeah. You got a better way. Yeah. See if you can highlight that or get it bigger. I just wanted to point this out. Scroll up a little bit. No, up. Yep. There's 303 prizes given out out of 4,536. So not too many people asked this question. So since not too many people asked this question, my guess is not too many people are thinking about it, because it's a pretty normal question. Like, well, what happens to the other 4,200 cards in that bucket? And the answer is they're all going to be given out. All of them, every single one. So right now, all those fancy, beautiful cards, or whether it's the Yaba card or the Arcanes, they're all sitting in that bucket. Black foils, Arcanes, gold foil Arcanes, they're all sitting in that bucket. Every day that goes by, we're burnt. If we don't sell our maximum, which I don't think not one day sold our maximum, right? So since that's the case, then that means every day the number of people or the number of packs it takes to get something out of that bucket continues to drop. So whether that's, a month from now, 3 months from now, 5 months from now, it ain't going to be past 10 months from now, because the whole set only goes for 300 days. So somewhere between day 1 and day 300, people are going to recognize that what's in that bucket is in that bucket, and the remaining packs have a chance to get what's in there. So if we were down to 4,200 packs and there was 4,200 prizes, every single pack would have one of those special, multi-$1,000 type cards in there.
Yeah, things are going to get really juicy.
Yeah.
So
I just wanted, that's sometimes, like I said, a lot of people ask and say, well, what are we going to do with all those extra 4,200 cards? And the answer is they're going to stay in the bucket until all the packs are open. And once the packs are open, they will be out of the bucket. That's as simple as it can be. So right now, we still got a lot of packs. I mean, a lot of, they're called hits, a lot of hits in that bucket, and some really cool cards. So, one of these days, it's going to make sense to probably buy some packs and open them and see what you get.
Yeah. In addition to the 3 airdrop cards, we have the Archons, right? And those cards are going to be insane. So once that, if anybody's feeling a lull right now, our sales continue to do well. I mean, we're at 3.2 million, but I think the highlight of getting packs is going to be back on the table here very soon.
Yeah, like in my case, I was going to buy a whole bunch of them and put them in wagons and just hold them even past the thing, because like I love just holding stuff, and as everybody else is ripping them, as long as like a few of the really big ones are in there, like let's say Yaba's 101, for instance, or some of the big ones, like I'd rather hold my packs, because my packs go up in value, because the odds of them being in there actually increase every time somebody opens one. But at the end of the day, I can't keep the deck. I can't keep the deck in my wallet, so I'm going to have to buy them at the end, probably like a lot of other people. Like that's what used to happen. at the end of alpha and at the end of beta, what would happen would be like, and all of a sudden you wake up one day and like the last 100,000 packs were gone. Like just people just said, "Oh shit, they're going." And then like somebody bought 5,000, somebody else bought 5,000. Next thing you know, there was only 100,000, all 100,000 left. Now we actually have more packs now than we did back then, but the same concept can happen. And yeah, Tails talked. He just brought up a point and said 3 million has been spent so far, which is actually 3.2 million, and it's not so necessarily a problem buying them now, but the point is if you open them, you have less odds today than you will, in 3 months. So that's but then you can play with them for 3 months too. So that's a different, that's a calculation too.
Yeah, we did it in a very interesting way though, because one, you're earning rewards faster than anybody, like, right? So you have all that time to earn rewards between now and the end of the sale versus the people that buy at the end. And then also I have a #1 mint black foil Jicarilla and Blazebeard. So people who participated early did get the low mints, and I believe you pulled a beauty yourself. So there was a lot of advantages to opening it up early too. So does Tails still have his legendary arcane, or did he get rid of it yet?
I think he still got it. I think he's probably playing with it. I don't know. Tails, let us know. And Doombot, the bucket prizes that are in the DAO will depend on how many packs are in the DAO, which is also going to be pretty interesting. The one thing that I really don't talk about very much, but I suggest if you want to like think about it, like the amount of assets that the DAO has is really not reflected in the price of SPS. Like if you look at, like there's two things, right? You could say, well, the assets are worth, nothing because it's SPS, deck and packs. And if we fail, it's going to be zero, right? Okay. Well, that's one way to look at it. And I'm not saying that's not valid, right? Because that's true. If we do fail, they're going to be zero. But if we don't fail, what are they going to be worth? I don't know. I think a lot, personally. Like I wish I had all the stuff that the DAO's got in it. And I think that when you look at the amount of SPS outstanding and what's in that, and then when you start considering the bucket, right, like all those bucket cards in there, I mean, there's going to be some really cool cards in there. I mean, I would not be surprised to see packs, like regular standard packs going for, 3, 5x, 10x, at some point, it could get really, really fun. So I'm not out telling people like, hey, go buy. Dave just said they were going to 10x, but I am saying that it's possible. So, that's, you'll see. I mean, we'll all see together. That's the beautiful thing, right? At Splinterlands, you get to see. You can see what cards are still in the bucket by going to that page. Blaze, as a matter of fact, I don't know how can you share that link with people here just so they know how to get it?
Yeah, so you just come into the mana well, click on prizes here, and then I will post that. And
if you could just post the link so they can copy it, because I personally love the idea. Like I go through that a lot and say, holy moly, like there hasn't been any of these cards done at all. Like, right.
There's a lot with zero.
Yeah.
I was going to show a card, but I'm not, because I'm going to buy it and I don't want them to front run me on it. So yeah. I'm going to move on. But I am going for the rainbow of Blazebeard, obviously, since I have the Investy. I did a trade and gave him the #1 mint Bellomancer for the Blazebeard. So that was a fun trade. I think that was within the first few days. So that was really just a great experience. We have such a cool community. But look at the Black Foil Arcanes on most of these. Look, none have been pulled. Gold Foil Arcane, none have been pulled. So I am eyeballing whoever gets these next. But I guess I might have to have a little patience here, right? So the longer time goes by, the better. But I did get my fix in today and pulled the Black Foil. That was fun. I opened up 4 alchemy packs and got it on pack number 2.
Yeah, I've been busy just buying stuff off the market. How is it? We're in kind of that lull, which yeah. I think we'll pick up from there. But for now.
Yeah, I was looking at the black foils. I think the black foils are close to $100 a handful of them. So maybe a good opportunity for to prepare for the wagons and instead of gambling on packs, just get one straight off the market if you don't have one already. Good stuff.
All right, so I think we don't really have. I'm not used to doing this format, Blaze, but it's kind of hard to know whether we have unanswered questions. But having said that, maybe just give another 5 minutes if anybody has any questions.
Yeah, or again, just go into the town hall and drop your questions there in Discord, and we'll get to it.
Yeah, I said I was going to do that, and I haven't had a chance to look yet. I talk too much, so if I talk too much, I apologize to everybody. And we actually have a couple other things that I'm going to just say that we have a couple other things. So I'm not going to tell you what they are, but I am going to tell you that as excited as I am to talk about the new player mode, which, by the way, I think is huge. So tell your friends, tell your family, tell anybody you want. Like, yeah, you don't have to play if it's beneath you, because obviously you guys are probably more pro-like. But for people that are coming in that no experience whatsoever, that's a great way to come in. But having said that, right underneath it are two of the projects that we're working on right now. I can say one thing that I'm working on personally is I'm going through a spec sheet for a land card. I can tell you that it has not passed through the process that would need to make it a formal spec, but it's being shopped around, meaning I'm going through like, how long would this take? What is it going to look like? What abilities can we put on it? Things like that. So it's moving forward. It's still got a ways to go, but that would be number 3. I got 2 things above that I think are everybody.
Yeah, it looks amazing, and just I think this is going to blow people's minds, especially Digital Land guy, Splinterlands guy, right? I was going to comment on one of his posts, but then I backspaced because I didn't want to spill the beans. But super excited.
I mean, it's kind of hard. Like, and somebody else told me the other day, we were having I forget who it was, but they said you don't give us a heads up on stuff. You just pop stuff out. Like, you should be giving us more of a heads up.
Right.
And the answer is because, at this point, like, I'm a little sensitive to the past. What are you doing? Are you opening a pack on stream?
Oh, no, keep on talking, Dave.
All right. So, yeah. So, at the end of the day, now you're distracting me, man. Now I'm like looking to make sure you don't get a black foil on the stream, then you're just going to cut me off. So go ahead.
No, I was just ripping and flipping.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. All right, so I lost my train. Yeah, that's a nice card.
Beauty.
There's Bulldog. Yep, Bulldog. We were looking forward to having you, but I know you couldn't make it. A lot of people couldn't. We actually did invite quite a few influencers, and people had various reasons why they couldn't be here, and that's perfectly understandable. By the way, I will point out that all of our influencers are, like I talked about the whales, like we couldn't have better whales. I also think the same thing about our influencers. Like, at the end of the day, I mean, just think of what these guys do. I mean, they go on, not necessarily every day, in conjunction every day, but I mean, these guys put their own time, their own energy, they do their own preps, for the most part, for nothing, right? Occasionally, Blaze maybe give them something for for a special tournament or something like that they may do, but for the most part, they're giving out their own assets. They're sitting there talking about Splinterlands. I mean, we owe a lot to those guys, which is why I want to build this platform, meaning the Town Hall Influencer Edition. And the fact that nobody can make it, is, I don't think, an indication that they're not interested. I think it's a combination of, the holiday, the time, the notice. We probably didn't give them a lot of notice, but we wanted to make sure that we came out with, I wanted to be here when we announced the conflict stuff, just so that people could ask questions, right? So if you guys had questions, I'm a heads on kind of guy. If people want to ask questions, ask questions. Like, I don't want to duck anything. Funny thing, somebody said the other day about the Soul Keep is like the team doesn't want to talk about Soul Keep, and of course, like, why do we want to talk about Soul Keep when there's nothing to say? Like, it's just rehashing the same thing over and over and over again. But do we care? Absolutely, I care about Soul Keep. I care about everything everything our players do. I care about. I want to see us succeed, and that's how we are going to succeed, right? Is by caring about everything. For the guys that just say like, nope, only my thing matters, like, that ain't me, right? Like, I care about all aspects, whether it be land, whether it be rank play, whether it be rank play wild or rank play modern, whether it be the new mode. I mean, I'm going to be very, very protective of the new mode. Like, I'm going to want to see a lot of people playing the new mode, not you guys, but I want to see other new people playing the new mode. I mean, it can be you guys, but in addition to that, like silver level players, bronze level players, like, I want everybody to come here and play this game. Like, that's how we rise, right? Like, we build an environment that's good for everybody. So that's me. So, all right. So, Blaze, you want to cut it off?
Great. Yeah, no, thanks, Dave, for pushing us to get this going. And I know that, I mean, even though they didn't show up, I know you wanted to share a lot of this information because we were in the trenches and you're like, yeah, we really need to get a town hall fired up so I can share it before the next one. So glad we were able to get connected up and knock this out between all the other stuff we have going on. And thanks for everybody who showed up and asked great questions. And yeah, we look forward to continue to deliver. And then also, if you are creating content, I'm trying to keep up with everything, but it's tough. So DM me in Discord if you need some packs. If you're doing a stream and you want me to send you some packs, I'll be happy to. I appreciate all your guys' time. And yeah, looking forward to seeing where we're taking this. The conflicts are going to be amazing. The cards that are going to drop are game changers. They're going to add. We have something for the big league, something for the little league. We have the third airdrop is very, very interesting. I can't wait to start sharing stats on those cards. But it really has that synergy of Conclave Arcana. They did a great job of keeping the synergy of quick battles, yay or nay. But one of these cards have Last Stand. It's amazing to play with. I'll share more details in the near future on it. But super excited. Appreciate everybody's time. Dave, thank you for all the valuable information for the community. And we look forward to streaming a lot more often here in the near future as we continue to grow. So thank you very much, everybody. Dave, any last words?
Yeah, I just want to say thanks to everybody that showed up. Like, even if you're not happy, like, I know some people aren't happy with the number, 800's a lot. I get it. I understand. I wanted to explain it so that you did understand the point of view, but, that doesn't make it any less, like, some people aren't going to be happy with that. So I get it. I mean, I understand. I'm not mad. I just wanted to explain it. But at the end of the day, I really appreciate you guys are here. I appreciate you spending your time, putting your effort, your energy. I wouldn't be here if I didn't think we were going to succeed. Just make sure you understand that. Like, I'm too old to be here if my time is being wasted. I don't need the job. So I'm actually very, very happy with the route we're headed. And I think you're going to be pretty happy with it as well, or the route we go. So that's it.
All right. Till next time, everybody. See ya.
Thank you, guys.